Hello, this is Tim with Simply Vine and Branch Ministries, and today I was out in the garden pulling some weeds, and I was just thinking about how our garden is very similar to our soul, and how if we don't tend to it, weeds will creep in. And it's similar, weeds are similar to sin, and how if we're not tending to our garden, or tending to the garden of our soul, how sin will creep in, and our soul will start feeding the flesh and not the spirit that we'd like it to do. We see in Song of Solomon in chapter 2, verse 15, it says, "Take us the foxes, the little foxes, to spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes." Just as our garden, the garden of a vineyard, if foxes come in and burrow in the dirt, they'll kill the vine, and the vines will not grow or bear fruit. So the foxes and weeds are very similar. How they creep in, how that sin will creep in. If we're chasing the lusts of the flesh, if we're chasing the lust of the world, that the desires of the world, the covetousness of the world, then those weeds will creep in, and those weeds will take over our garden. Even in religion and in our ministry, how if we're looking into tending to others more than we're tending to ourselves. Yes, we are to go out and minister to the world. We are to go out and share the gospel, the truth. But at times we need to step back and we need to tend to our own garden. We need to tend to our own soul and take in the Word of God, believe the Word of God, trust in the Word of God, walk in the Word of God, and let the God of all grace grow and remove the weeds from our garden, because those weeds will suppress the growth of our fruit, just like a garden in the natural. If the weeds aren't pulled, your tomatoes won't produce like they should, or your peppers won't produce like they should. So too it is in our soul, how if we feed the soul with earthly things, or if we get too caught up with pride and covetousness, that's going to feed the flesh, and that leads to destruction. It doesn't lead to spiritual growth. It's all wood, hay, and stubble. And so as we take in the Word of God, believe in the Word of God, how that those weeds will be removed, and the fruit that the Spirit will grow in us, it will be love, peace, joy, and how that fruit needs to grow, but it only can grow if we're taking in the Word of God and focusing on Jesus. And it's Jesus who will deliver us. It's by His grace that we will be saved. It's by His grace that we will be transformed. And it's by His grace that those